Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alina and I'm a growth minded single mom here in Houston, Texas. On this channel, I talk about everything that I'm going through as a growth minded single mother. And I just wanted to give you guys a quick definition of what it means to be growth minded because I'll tell you, my belief in myself as a growth minded single mom is being tested in recent times. Okay, so a growth mindset is a belief that a skill and intelligence can be improved with effort and persistence. Now, if you saw my last video, you know that I quit my job as a single mother. And I hope you will go and watch that video and see what it took for me to reach this point and where where I'm headed moving forward. But trying something new is scary. It brings up a lot. Um, for me personally, it has made me think about all the times in life that I failed or lacked confidence in myself and let fear overtake me. And it's a lot to be having these like flashbacks while I'm trying to build something that I feel is on the path that God has laid out for me in order to achieve the ultimate goals that He has placed in my heart. So, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you all what I've been up to since my last video. I quit my job. I'm on the 26th day after my last day of work. Okay, so I'll tell you all what I've been up to since then, and I'll tell you what I'm doing from a financial aspect in order to stay afloat during this transitionary period. I'll tell you what I've been struggling with and how I am, kind of riding the waves of this time. So, the business that I've decided to go into is real estate investment or digital real estate marketing. I'm like looking for deals and wholesaling real estate. For me, this is a step one into my new career path. One of my main goals this year was to find an opportunity in a career path that, you know, felt excited about. And at the beginning of the year, I thought that was going to be data analytics because I completed my data analytics certificate. It took me a long time. But as time progressed, I just realized how important it is to me to I want to live on a compound with my siblings. And I feel that beginning in real estate as a deal finder will give me a lot of skills. And ultimately, I do envision myself, I don't know, I envision myself learning a lot about real estate development. And I think that will be really helpful for me and my family to build this life that I have in my mind. So, what that looks like right now is that I am looking I'm looking around the United States for markets that fit a specific criteria that I can reach out to homeowners and get get a contract locked up at a discounted price for their home and then immediately sell my rights to the contract to an end buyer or an investor. And so that means that I have been cold calling like all week. And this is like the first thing that's really kind of shaking me. And I'm getting better. So toward the end of last week and the beginning of this week, I started making my first cold calls, and I'll tell you, the first people who would pick up, I was just like so scared, and I still am scared to this day. I mean, and it's not abundantly clear to me what I'm fearful about, but I just know that when I'm on the calls, my heart is like racing, and I forget how to talk to people like humans. I'm a curious person. I think most of my friends would say that they enjoy talking to me because I do ask a lot of questions about people. I'm very curious about people and their mindsets and their dreams and everything like that. But when I'm on a cold call, I'm just like, I don't know, I get stuck, I freeze, and it's just such a foreign experience for me. And in the past few weeks, I have had, like I mentioned, like flashes of all the times that I have failed in life or perceived an experience as a failure. Because, right, we never really fail. We're always guided. But I am having this internal battle right now because I've made a really risky decision, a risky move that I do feel will pay off, but it doesn't come without its challenges. And my challenge right now is myself and my newness, my amateur state of just not really knowing. So I think when I do think about what I get scared of on these cold calls, and I would love for anybody who's like in sales to pitch, like, let me know your experience in the comments. Like, where what t- it described to me a time where you were fearful in your role, and how did you like work through that fear in order to make your pitch and close a deal. I'm very curious about that because I don't know, it's getting better as the days go by, and I'm like forcing myself on the calls. And one thing I am doing is I'm just focusing on different parts of the sales process that I want to improve upon. So right now I am focusing on improving the time that I spend in the motivation part of the sales process. So let me just pull up my notes really quickly here. Okay, in the sales process for the field that I'm in, we have 8 different phases, beginning with the intro and ending with the close. And in between there, we have a transition from the intro. Um, we move into identifying the seller's motivation and situation. And this is the place where I'm supposed to spend the most time, 5 to 8 minutes out of a 10 to 15-minute conversation. However, I find myself getting so anxious because when I call someone and their guard is up, like I feel like I'm bothering them. So, one thing that I have been doing is spending some time every day that I'm making calls to work on my mindset, and that includes journaling, writing affirmations for myself, and also watching some live cold calls on YouTube to just get the, I don't know, sales juices flowing, and kind of chip away at the mountain that this business feels like, this the mountain that cold calling feels like. I'm trying to improve my familiarity with cold calling by watching live cold calls and taking notes and implementing the strategies that they use in their examples. Because I have watched a lot of cold calls and I've taken notes on everything, but it still kind of feels like a bunch of notes on a paper. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just doing my best to try to keep people on the line, to speak to them with genuine interest, and then I'll move on to, building rapport, understanding the condition of a property, getting an idea as to the time frame that the seller is desiring to move, and the price that they want for the property. So, leading up to my leap into cold calls, I had purchased, I mean, they call it a mentorship, but I really feel It's like a class, like an online class with modules that teach you how to set up um, your systems, such as like your batch dialers, how to use PropStream, how to skip trace your lists, and yeah, tells you like how to go through a sales call and stuff like that. So it took me most of the time to get to a point where I was had all my systems up and running to be able to make the cold calls. So that's what I've been up to since my last video. And in terms of how am I affording to do this, I I withdrew my 401k, and there was enough in my 401k to last me like 3 or 4 months. And I know that's probably a controversial thing to say. I will say that if you are considering withdrawing your 401k, to just be aware that there, for me, I'm in Texas, there's a 20% penalty. Like, my 401k was with Fidelity, and Fidelity kept 20% off the top. And then when I file my taxes in the coming year, I will owe another 10% off of the amount that I withdrew from my 401k. And I know there are options to take a loan out against your 401k. I didn't do that. I don't really recall the reason why I didn't go in that direction, but I didn't. And I know there's also too, like, hardship options where I don't know. I don't even want to get into it because I really don't know. But yeah, that's how I'm supporting my home during this transitionary period. And in terms of how much money I've put into this business already, I've put about $1,500 of my own money toward creating my LLC, paying for this course mentorship, and paying for my software. I will say that I feel that people in this space like take issue with the idea that I have paid for someone to teach me the business, because a lot of people associate these sort of programs with like scams, and so they're very skeptical. They're like, well, how much did you pay for it, and how much is he, how much are you getting in return? And for me, it's like, I don't really, I mean, I started this back in January without any guidance at all, and I was not successful. So it only made sense for me to try to find a program that would teach me actually how to do this business. And I haven't closed my first deal yet, but I do feel that the investment that I've made in education is well worth it. I remember watching a video from Alex Hormozy, and he said he will always invest in education, and I have felt that too. I spent a lot of time in college, invested a lot of money in college, and I do feel that I would rather invest in someone else's journey to like benefit myself. And what I mean by that is like, I would rather pay somebody to learn everything that they learned through all their bumps and bruises on on their journey, so that I can have a starting point that's maybe a little bit further than I would if I was just trying to figure this out on my own. Because with real estate investing, wholesaling, digital real estate marketing, there's just so much information out there. Everybody has, all these grand ideas and systems that work for them. And sometimes people contradict each other. And I find too that a lot of people, they like, maybe they'll tell you this is how to how to do this business from the very beginning. but they're not actually starting at a beginner's, like at step one. They'll start explaining the process at like step three. I'm like, hold on a minute. I need you to go backward a little bit and like explain to me, even give me the definition of what this business is. So yeah, I'm somebody who really benefits from like structure. And so I feel confident in the investment that I made in terms of purchasing a mentorship or a course that teaches me the business. And if I had purchased this back in January, I feel confident that I would have already closed my first deal and recouped my investment. So it's only a matter of time, inshallah, that I'll be able to recoup on that investment. Okay, so that is so far. I've talked about what I've been doing so far. I talked a little bit about the challenges that I'm facing in cold calling in terms of just like overcoming fear and self doubt. And I am fortunate too that with this mentorship program that I have a community of people who are also in the business. And so I do, if I get stuck somewhere, I can call on people. And I think that's really important is to have community. And they just told me that, I just got to keep putting in the reps and, I'll feel more confident in myself. I really look forward to the day that I've closed a few deals and I do feel like I belong here and like I really can help the sellers. Like I think part of me feels like I'm calling and asking people for a favor or asking someone to believe in me. I think maybe that's what I feel, and coming in with that lack of confidence, I'm like I feel that I'm like bringing baggage to the call, and I think people can sense that. So yeah, I look forward to having a proof of concept and believing that believing that I can actually do this. I believe that this route is the route that I'm supposed to take, but I don't necessarily believe yet that I can do it. I haven't seen that I can do it yet, and that's something to work on for me. I wish I was one of those people. Like, do you guys have any family members? Like for me, my brother, I feel that he can go into any business and excel because he goes into it thinking that it's easy. He just goes and he's like, "Yeah, I can do that. That's easy." I want to embody that more often. Just kind of like, yeah, I can do it. Why not? Why wouldn't I be able to do that? That's so easy. Just call people. Yeah, sure. Um, all right. So yeah, that's one challenge that I face. Another challenge that I faced is like, listen, you guys, this is the first time that I've had this much control over my daily schedule since college. Because right now my daughter is with her dad for the summer and I don't have the structure of work, and I will say that that takes some time to get used to because I'm a very structured person. I thrive on structure and routine because I feel that I think one of the Williams sisters said this, where they said that discipline is the key to freedom, or true freedom lies in discipline or something like that. And I believe that to be true because it's like I've seen it with a lot of these goals that I've set for myself this year that I set the goal, and if you reverse engineer it into a daily routine, you set yourself up to achieve that goal. But when I went from having a schedule that I had been working with for 3 years to now having all this time, it just was a lot more challenging than I anticipated to set a routine that actually made sense for my capabilities at the time in the moment, and to be able to follow through with the routine and feel proud about myself at the end of the day, because that's something that's really important. Like I feel proud of myself when I go through my routine. Now the happens when you set a routine for yourself but you create too many expectations on yourself. So, for example, I don't know, I think it's still on my whiteboard back here, but my first routine would be like me working on my business 8 hours in the day. And I just didn't find that to be realistic. And it was challenging because the first week I was trying to meet those expectations of my that I have placed on myself, and I was failing to meet them. And if I'm already having low confidence with trying something new, this doesn't help. Failing to meet your daily routine requirements, it doesn't help boost confidence at all. And so over time, I've had to decrease the expectation I put on myself, which I think that's an important thing to talk about, especially because I watch a lot of entrepreneurs on YouTube and they all seem to just do it so well. They all seem to like have time blocking down to a science. They have their perfect daily routine, and then I'm coming in trying to emulate that and do what they're doing and then just failing. And I've had to have a lot of internal dialogue with myself about whether or not the expectations that I'm putting on myself are realistic, respectful, reasonable, and whether or not I'm comparing my day one to someone else's, year three. And it does, it is good. It feels good to have that self reflection. Um, yeah, it is good to have that dialogue with myself and reflect on that. And so right now, my schedule is looking more like, okay, in the morning, I make sure to do at least a 30-minute to 1 hour walk. And I'll do like from 9 until noon of work. So whether that's cold calling or getting further along in the coursework, then I will take a break and then I'll get back on the lines from 1 till like 3 or something. And in the evening, I mean, I want to, if I don't go for a walk in the morning, I definitely go for a walk or run in the evening. I try to do both in the morning and the evening, and that is my ultimate goal. In fact, it's my ultimate goal to do a run, walk, and an actual weighted workout, but I'm just not there right now. So I wind up like feeling really exhausted by the end of my second work time block because I am still managing a lot of fear and anxiety, and that does feel exhausting. Um yeah, and another thing that I'm doing to have a realistic and resonant schedule is just to make sure that I'm seeing friends and continuing to pour into my community. I don't know if I've mentioned this in past videos, but I think in my adult life, I have spent a lot of time, almost all the whole time, feeling alone, and feeling like no one is really there for me the way that it would feel good for people to be there for me. So this year was really important to me to make friends and make new, invest in relationships that I already had and to also cultivate new friendships with people that I admire. So seeing friends has been really helpful, and that's something that I didn't do when I was in college, and I think that was very detrimental to me, and part of the reason why it took me so long to finish college is because that lack of schedule, lack of community, um, lack of asking for help, lack of the tools that I had back then. Yeah. So that's all I got. That's all I got today. I hope you guys found this useful. Let me know in the comments below. Have you tried anything lately that was scary? And if you did, how did you navigate that? How did you work through your fear to achieve whatever goal you had set forth for yourself? All right. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.